minutes to go. Oh, wait, we're hearing it now. The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and see what happens.
With the 5th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama.
Nigga with a vicious mind, hard cold like Christmas time. Every time I write a rhyme, put it all on the line. No need to hold my tongue, hold the mic like you hold a gun. Haters, I'm the chosen one. Fakers, I don't roll with none. Don't you ever test my heart. Been a rebel from the start. I ain't got time to play no games. I'm too busy playing my part. Keep my mind on my mission, living by my premonition. Through the world with blurry vision, stressing in high definition. Not the man I wanna be, but I'll be damned I'm gonna be. How in the hell I'm gonna see the obstacles in front of me? Watching all my sacrifice, and life is far from paradise. My palms, they hold a paradise. I stay in clear of parasites. Walking the path unknown to most. The ones that I love, I hold them close. Every rhyme I wrote was dope, no jokes so folks can overdose. Lyrically, I'm legendary. Yes, I'm very necessary. Plans to see my adversaries buried in the cemetery. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Being smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, I'll fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Being smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, I'll fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. You better open the door and let me in. I'm kicking the door off the hinge, the beginning of your end. When you freaking with my can, oh you wanna be a thief, you're welcome to eternal sleep. This is not considered beef, the beef to me is obsolete. For everything that you stole, put a hole in your soul, burning me eternally. But why the hell am I so cold? Two wrongs don't make a right, damn show gon' make my night. Better be ready to take that flight and take a step into the light. Now I'm in a bad mood, there will be no remorse. Now I got an attitude, a plan to use deadly force. Now it's time for you to bleed, for your jealousy and greed. My mind telling me to kill, just like it's telling me.
Oh boy. Hold on.
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.
All right. Now we could officially start. What is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Beyond the Scoreboard, the post-game reactionary show. As you see, crying towel for the abomination, for the piss-poor job, for the franchise that we've given our lives to, and they continue to let us down, known as the Miami Dolphins. Oh, man. I don't know how long I'm going to be today. Hopefully not long, but I am off today, so I do have some things that I want to get into as we go over whatever that was last night. I started to come live last night, but the game was too late, so I said, you know what, I'm off today. I'll just go ahead and do it. Do it today. So, man, where do we begin? So over the past 2 weeks, especially the post-game show Sunday, I kept harping on the only way the Dolphins win this game is by running the football, showing toughness, punching the Green Bay Packers in their mouths, and just playing a clean game. So what did the Dolphins do? They played a penalty-filled game. They got punched in the mouth, couldn't run to save their lives, and just went out there and laid a complete egg on national TV. And listen, it's getting to the point now where I'd rather the Dolphins not play any primetime games, because when the spotlight of the country and the world is on the Dolphins, they fold like a cheap suit every time. Every single time. They always just fold like a cheap suit. It's like they're impervious. They can't play good under the watchful eye when they're the only game in town. You know, hell, one of the lyrics to the song, the Jimmy Buffett's Finn songs, is "We're the only game in town." And when we're the only game in town, we fold like a cheap suit. Like, I mean, like, what was that last night? I stopped taking notes halfway through the game because I was just so depressed. And it was funny because before the game even started, I had poured myself a shot of Crown Royal because I'm like, oh man, Thanksgiving. And by the way, hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. So I don't want to lose sight of what's really important in life. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Everybody had a chance to spend time with their family, their loved ones, and all that good stuff. And then we were supposed to have the night capped off and be treated to the new look Miami Dolphins that were supposed to be more serious, that knew that they had to have every game. They couldn't lose. They got to go in there and play tough. Every game is a playoff game, and they went in there and pissed on themselves like nobody's business. Oh my goodness, man. Shout out to those of you. Peace, Anthony. Shout out to those of you watching over on Twitter. So let's get into this game. So the way the game started, Green Bay gets the ball and Miami forces them to a 3-and-out. Like that defense, I'm like, okay, they came to play. Like that defense came out, forced them to a 3-and-out. And then this is where the disaster started happening. So the punt happens. Green Bay punts the ball. And friggin', oh my goodness, what is his name? Malik Washington. I don't know. It was a night game, so I don't know how the hell he got lost in the lights, but he completely loses footing, loses track of the ball, and muffs the kick. And Green Bay gets the ball right inside the 10-yard line, and they go to score 7-0 right off the bat. Like, just absolute disaster. Everything that went wrong, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And that was just absolute disaster. And when that happened, I was just like, oh no. He's a rookie, maybe the bright. It doesn't matter. He's played enough. It doesn't matter. You got one job. Catch the damn ball. Even if you don't run, just catch the ball. Feel the ball. One job. I warn people this team is no good in the cold weather. So let's get into that cold weather thing. When you look at the Dolphins roster, the majority of them played in schools that were in the cold. The majority of the players are from places north of Florida. So I don't want to hear this cold weather bull crap. It's always an excuse with the Dolphins. Cold weather. So what? You mean to tell me the players from Green Bay, they didn't play in all different type of weather conditions? The cold can't constantly be an excuse for piss poor play. It just can't, because I remember, shout out to Trey Mullins in the building. I remember a time, it was, I want to say 2016. The Dolphins went right up to the Jets Stadium. The Dolphins went right up to the Jets Stadium with a playoff berth on the line and beat the holy hell out of the Jets. And it was like 20 degrees. So what was the difference then? Like, I'm sick and tired of the excuses. And I'm not talking about you, Anthony. I'm just talking about we give this team too much of a pass just because it's like, oh, they're the Florida team. I'm going to tell you right now, the Miami Dolphins could possibly be the softest team in the NFL. I said it last week, and I say it again. The Dolphins are the softest team in the NFL, and now players are coming out saying it. Commentary. Listen, when the commentary who's supposed to be putting you over is coming out saying that, oh my goodness, this team is soft, then there's a problem. Now everybody's starting to see that this team, the Miami got just beat up last night. And I figure when you build a team like this that's built for speed, everything they do is speed base. Yeah, Greer definitely needs to go. And I was kind of giving McDaniel kind of a little grace, but I don't know, man. McDaniel, and we're going to get into one possession in particular, but this team is built for speed. No toughness. I mean, outside of like Calais Campbell and Zach Sealer, there's your beef right there. You don't have any badass guys that'll just run their heads through walls on this team. Like, everything about this team is finesse. This is a finesse team. And again, like I said, we're going into December. It's getting colder. You're basically playing playoff football now. Everything slows down to defense and running the football, and they can't run the football. How the hell can you try to be the 49ers South and you can't run the football? You like this is maddening. This is maddening how, okay, we get, I know it. I've said it from the beginning. Tua is a great quarterback. I don't want to hear anything about him, whatever. I'm not even talking about Tua today. This is strictly on the design of this team and the structure. This team was designed. This is almost reminding me of the Wildcat year. The Wildcat took the NFL by surprise. We won 11 games, got into the playoffs, got our ass kicked. Last season, the Dolphins took the NFL by surprise with all that pre-snap motion, all that speed, all that going over the top. The defensive coordinators had a chance to look at that and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a safety over the top. That now makes Tyreek Hill void. That makes him void. You could get all the stuff in the middle because they're going to get the middle no matter what. The Dolphins are probably one of the best teams for passes in the middle of the field. Fine. But all that over the top, let us get you in two plays type of stuff, that is over. Let me see. Robert Gaskell, football is power and nastiness. Absolutely. Two things which the Dolphins don't have. And what kills me is even after bad plays, they're on the damn sideline laughing and giggling. Now, me as a fan, why am I sitting here in my couch crushing things, miserable, pissed off, and they're on the sideline giggling? Like, life is a joke, bro. This is the damn, like, literally, you have no room for error. This is a chance at the playoffs. This is a chance at a winning record. You have to win every single game you have left because the team didn't get a capable enough backup quarterback to win those 4 games that Tua was out. So now you're in the doldrums. You can't make any mistakes. So what did they do last night? Prime time, they go and make a shit ton of mistakes. That's what they do. That's what they do. I can't even say last night that they snatched defeat from the hands of victory because they never had the victory at hand last night. Never. Never at one point did I think the Dolphins were going to win that game last night. And that's bad because there's some games where the Dolphins fall behind. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they'll shake this off and Tua will bring them down. He'll bring them down the field and they'll score. But the magic of Tua wasn't good enough yesterday. It was not good enough. And this is the most glaring thing. Like I said, I got some time today. I'm off. I am off, man. Y'all watching. Y'all make sure and hit the like button. Those of you watching over on Twitter, peace to you. So I want to look at the team stats, because when you see the score 30-17, you're like, man, the Dolphins just got obliterated. But when you look at the team stats, Miami had 375 total yards. Green Bay had 388, so equal there. Miami 336 passing yards, Green Bay 274. Here's the kicker. Green Bay 114 rushing yards, Miami 39. They completely abandoned the run. Hell, you know what? They didn't even try to pretend like they were going to try to run the ball. First few possessions, everything was passes. It's like Mike McDaniel has convinced himself, hey, we can't run the ball, so instead of try, let's mix it in with short passes. Let's do reverses. Let's do screens. Let's do everything but line up and play fundamental football. Let's do everything. I mean, Devon Achane is a great player. But he can't run between the tackles. Moser looks like his time's running down. You'd like to see Malik Wright get more carries, But and this is ridiculous. And Miami is one of the few teams that still uses a fullback. So you have a fullback. The reason you have that fullback is to help in the run game. They're throwing passes to the fullback. Listen, we get it, man. Tua is a great quarterback to me. I know people are hot and cold on him, which is ridiculous. But to me, Tua is a fantastic quarterback. He has nothing to prove to me. This is all on Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier. All this season falls on McDaniel and Chris Grier by not giving us the team that we need to play these type of games. It's easy to beat up on the Patriots and the Raiders and teams like that. We'll probably beat the hell out of the Jets. And so that's real easy to do that. Peace, pretty big woman, Quay. It's real easy to beat up on those type of teams. But when you're playing playoff teams, you can't go out there and get your ass kicked. I even said Sunday that even if they lost, at least if it was like a punch you in the face, if they lost the game like how they lost to Buffalo, where it took a 61-yard field goal with no time on the clock to win that game, or when they lost to the Cardinals, where it literally took a field goal with 3 seconds left on the clock to win that game. Had it been a game like that, I've been like, you know what? At least they could still play. They go out and they just get obliterated. And I, you know what? And let me take the first 7 points off with the muff punt, because that was just terrible. They had the score there. But it's possession after possession after possession. Green Bay literally just moved the Dolphins defense at will. At will. They just ran up and down on them like it was nobody's business. That's what I'm talking about, toughness. They were making it past that second level, and they were running people over. There were plays where Jacobs had 4 Dolphins wrapped up on him, and he was still able to break out and make positive yards. Jalen Ramsey, arm tackling. Javon Holland, arm tackling. The fundamentals of this team is lacking. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on in Miami Gardens when they're training, but this isn't it. This isn't it. This is not it. I've seen this story for too many years. I'm 44 years old. I've been watching this team since 1987. I've seen this story way too many times. I know how this story plays out. I know how it plays out. For you new Dolphin fans, you may be like, oh man, why is he going crazy? Because it's not, well, at least I saw them good. You guys have never seen them good. I'm from a time where they made the playoffs every year, and they'd always at least win a playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years. So you should be upset. I mean, you guys, this isn't no glass half full here. This is literally panic. This is panic time, because we are constantly. I appreciate that, Quay. Listen, we are. This is panic time. When I look at a team like the Detroit Lions, who right now is my favorite to win the Super Bowl, they were the Dolphins. They were the dregs of the NFL, the worst franchise ever. And I said to myself, like, man, how could that team turn it around and get so good so fast? You know why? Because even though they have a $50 million quarterback, they could run the goddamn football. This is the year that the running backs are making a comeback. Hopefully, Saquon Barkley wins the NFL MVP award. They probably give it to a quarterback, though, which is stupid, but hopefully he should win it. You have Derrick Henry. You got this guy for Green Bay. Like, the running backs are making, because that's how football, what's old is new again. That's how football has always been played. You run the ball, you play defense, you win the game in the trenches. And the Dolphins are not built to do that at all. I don't even need to go through these stats. Miami's first possession, 2 pre-snap penalties. 2 pre-snap penalties. And they still were kind of fighting through it. Then they get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct on Jonnu Smith, which that was ridiculous in itself. But there was a couple of calls that I was like, oh man, that's crazy, but it still wasn't good enough. The Dolphins needed to win that game on their own. The first defensive possession and the defensive possession where they got that scoop and score, which was called back, which is, again, this is the second week in a row Miami's fall victim to that stupid arm going forward crap. That's ridiculous. That's dumb. So that could have swayed the game. But my biggest complaint in this game, and everybody knows where I'm going. Let me see. I got to read the chat, man, because I'm just going off. Let's see. Hey, when the locker room loses respect for the head coach, they're just not playing. You know what? And Robert, I agree with that, because Mike McDaniel is too much of a player's coach. Mike McDaniel is too much of a buddy guy. I'm over about 10 guys at work, and I'll laugh and giggle with them, but they know when we're on the clock that I'm the boss and whatever I say goes. And that's how things go. Mike McDaniel just like I said on last week's show, the Dolphins were up 3 touchdowns. Mike McDaniel's letting Tua get back in the game because he wants to get back in the game. No, you're his coach. Tell him sit his ass down. You're already up. You did whatever you had to do. Like this is what I'm saying, man. Mike McDaniel needs to grow a set. And I said, it's because he has that hair. Last year, remember, he had a lower haircut. This year, he's in the Bentley now, and he's all cool. You know, he got his extension and blah, blah, blah. Hey, listen, let me tell you something, Mike. Those extensions could be taken away real easy. This is the NFL. They will take your extension away faster than they gave it to you if you don't perform. You know, we loved you because you unlocked something in Tua, but now it's looking to me like Tua was carrying you the entire time, because those 4 games you didn't have Tua, you look like a little league coach coaching against men. Tua comes back, now the Dolphins look like last year. Only thing changed was Tua. So, you know, but again, I said I wasn't going, because Tua, I'm holding Tua harmless in this one, because I know everybody wants to pile on him. I haven't even listened to the national sports pundits yet, because I know they're going to be piling on Tua. This is what this is going to be. This is piling on Tua. But you're in 26-degree weather and you decide to throw the ball 47 times. Who does that fall on? That falls on the head coach. That's who that falls on. 12 rushing attempts. 12 rushing attempts for 39 yards. 12 times you ran the ball in 27-degree weather, and you expect to win a football game like that? Oh my goodness, bro. Like this is insanity, man. Let me see. Hold on. I gotta read the chat, man. I gotta just shout out to the queen of Straight Talk Society. He's focused on taking those to the game. Yeah, absolutely, man. Bro has the excitement of deliverance needed to entertain the audience. Yeah, I tried to, man. But I love the Dolphins, man. Listen, I am the guy, you know, I don't have hair no more, but I'm the guy that's loyal to his barber. You wouldn't go to another barber. You wouldn't go to another barber if you had your right barber. You know, I'm the guy that I'm the fan. Dolphin fans in general, we're the fans that we know the guy's not good for you, but he bought you some flowers and kind of smooth it over. Like that's how we are. We victims of we I ain't gonna say that. I was gonna say we love. I'm gonna say it anyway. Yeah, we love our abuser, man, because they constantly abuse us sports wise. Every year we think that this is gonna be it. They always find a way to just kick us in our balls. Yeah, it's just every time. Shout out to Mike D in the building. Yeah, please do hit that like, share, subscribe button. Yeah, man. So it's like again, listen, when I was younger, I finally told this story the other day to somebody, because we got in an argument about Dan Marino. Dan Marino is my all-time favorite player. Dan Marino is my favorite football player, bar none. I met Dan Marino when I was young. Dan Marino's my favorite player, and I just thought that Tua was so great in college that he would have been able to lift this team. And I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say. If Brian Flores was still our head coach, we'd be better off right now. And I cannot believe I'm about to say that because I thought I loved Mike McDaniel. But to me, Mike McDaniel has career offensive coordinator written all over him. Brian Flores would have at least had this defense Super Bowl level. When the Dolphins were purposely sucking for Tua, tanking for Tua, the defense was still keeping them in games. And I'm just saying, Mike McDaniel only has this team when we're winning, when we're up by 3 touchdowns. You know, so I don't know how good of a leader he is amongst men. You could be a leader amongst men when everything is going good, but how can you be a leader amongst men during adversity? That's where your true will is tested. When is adversity, your fan base is ready to jump ship on you. Hey, and here's the funny thing. This is the crazy thing about it. The Dolphins at 5-7 right now, if they win out, they'll be 10-7 and probably make the playoffs. And to that, I say, so what? So what? Absolutely, Robert. Flores is kicking ass in Minnesota. So what? If the Dolphins make it in as a 7 seed, they're probably going to play Baltimore or oh God, please not Buffalo. I would love for them to play Pittsburgh because you guys know I got a running thing with Zay where I think we'd smoke Pittsburgh, but that's beside the point. But the Dolphins are going to play some team that guess what? Reside in cold weather. Oh, you want to go to Kansas City for the playoffs in 10-degree weather? No. You want to go to Buffalo in that terrible stadium where they got to move the snow hours before the game? No. You want to go to Baltimore, who historically puts the beats on you? No. What do you want to do? You want to go somewhere where you got to be able to run the football. 30, listen, me and my brother-in-law argue about this all the time because he thinks that at his age, 52, he could line up behind an NFL O-line and make 10 yards. And I tell him he absolutely cannot. And every time the Dolphins don't do it, I just send him a message and say, see. So I said I was going to get to the snap that really concerned me. So Miami, again, Tua knows where to put that ball. They're wheeling and dealing. They're just going down the field, wheeling and dealing. They get inside the 10. 1st and goal. I think at this point, Green Bay was up by 14 or 15. So a touchdown would have brought it within 1 score. Miami 1st and goal in the series for your season. This is your season on the line right here. And the Dolphins made 1 attempt to run the ball. 1. They tried to run it 1 time for a loss, and they abandoned the run. You're in 4-down territory. You got a fullback. Put an extra tight end in there. Do something, McDaniel. No, they end up losing yards. Tua takes a sack, and guess what? The ball goes the other way. They don't even score. So they didn't even come away with a field goal. And that right there just let me know season's over. Do you see the Dolphins make? No. If they would have won last night, then I said they had a chance. They would have made the playoffs. But no, because if you make the playoffs, you're going to play teams like you played last night. So if you can't beat them, there's no reason, there's no need. Because right now we're messing up our draft position. We need we need a lot. We need some more O-linemen. We got to find a way to run this football. I don't know if we could just spend every draft pick on a running back until we we get one. We got to be able to run the ball. Like, without running the football, you're nothing in the NFL. Like, that's crazy. Miami couldn't score inside the 10-yard line on a must-have drive. Didn't even come away with a field goal. And I think that right there demoralized them. The game was lost right there. Like, that's where the game was lost, and it just went into being stat padding. It's like when you see Green Bay, Jordan Love and Tua were taking the same time. Jordan Love was considered to be a bust too, because he was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, and I think he may have gotten in like once or twice, and he played like crap. But then he had a breakout season last year. Same with Tua. Tua is the most polarizing quarterback in the NFL for whatever reason. So they both are on the same trajectory. The only thing about it, Green Bay put a better team around Jordan Love. Jordan Love doesn't have to go out there and try to win the game every single week. He could rely on his running game. He could rely on his defense. You know what Tua has to do? Tua has to rely on throwing the ball 50 times a game. That's the difference. Oh, my goodness, man. Those of you watching over on Twitter, y'all make sure and hit the like. I don't know how it works on Twitter. Somebody on Twitter, drop me a comment. I don't know if you could like the video or share the video. I don't know how that works, man. But those of you watching on YouTube, please make sure and hit the like button. This is where it is after all Miami Dolphin post-game shows. You get this. This is how it is. Win, lose, or draw. See, I'm not like a Cowboy fan. Most Cowboy fans, when they lose, they'll go crawl under a rock and they'll never show up. And the minute they beat a lowly team like the Giants, then they'll come out and peep their head out and be like, see, how about those Cowboys? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm here, rain or shine, win, lose, or draw. I am here. I am present, and it is what it is. So I take my lumps. It is what it is. But Miami, I wanted to chill over here before going to work. Peace. So peace. Yeah, I appreciate you coming through, Quay. We got a problem. So let me go through these stats real quick before we discuss the problem. So you have 114 rushing yards by Green Bay, 39 rushing yards by the Dolphins. But look how close this was. 21 first downs by Miami, 19 from Green Bay. Miami was 4 of 14 on third downs. Green Bay was 5 of 11. Miami was 3 of 5 on fourth. Okay, Miami was 4 of 14 on third downs. Miami was 3 of 5 on fourth downs. 65 total plays by Miami to 53 total plays of Green Bay. Miami gave up 5 sacks though. Tua hasn't been hit this hard in a long time. Miami punted the ball 3 times. Green Bay punted 3 times. Here's another kicker. Miami 10 penalties for 75 yards. I mean, and just unnecessary ass penalties. The false starts, the unsportsmanlike conduct, like Jonnu Smith getting into it with a defender where he hit him in the head, like just unnecessary, undisciplined. Again, lack of discipline. Miami had the ball 33 minutes. Green Bay had the ball 26 minutes, so 27. So if you looked at those stats, you'd have been like, man, this score wouldn't have been 30-17. You thought maybe 20-23 or, a closer game. But no, Miami got their ass kicked because they didn't utilize, they didn't make good decisions with the time that they were allotted. They did not. Let's get into the player stats. Tua was 37 of 46. There's no reason in the world he should be throwing the ball 46 times in 26-degree weather when you got 3 healthy running backs. That's crazy. 37 of 46, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, listen to this. 5 carries, 19 yards, 3.8 yards a carry. A-Chain, 7 carries, 14 yards. 2 yards average. Tua, 2 carries, 6 yards. So Tua was the second leading rusher in average on the team. How ridiculous is that? Like, think about what I just said there. Like the stupidity of that, Mike McDaniel. Jonnu Smith, 10 receptions, 113 yards. He continues to have a breakout season. Tyreek Hill, 6 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown, which that touchdown was ridiculous. The way he caught that ball that wasn't even intended for him. So shout out to him for that. But again, it means nothing. A-Chain, 8 carries, 8 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, 53 yards. Engel had 2 receptions. Moser had 2 receptions. Odell Beckham had 1. Malik Washington, Durham Smythe, Julian Hill. So they were distributing the ball all around. Jordan Love was 21 of 28, very efficient game, 274, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, so now this is deceiving here. It just seemed to me like Green Bay may have had like 300 rushing yards, the way that they were running the ball so efficiently. But Josh Jacobs only had 19 carries for 43 yards. It made me think that he was really gashing the Dolphins, but he really wasn't. But here's the gasher, former Dolphin Chris Brooks, 3 carries, 28 yards, 9 yards a carry. Jaden Reed, one carry, 23 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, 2 carries, 10 yards. So they were big. They were getting like these big monster runs. And again, the tight end game is so important in the NFL. Jordan Love has a big safety valve at tight end that he just can throw the ball to and help him out, and he's going to always catch it. At least Miami has that now in Jonnu Smith, because Jonnu Smith is awesome. He is awesome. Great pickup. Jonnu Smith and Calais Campbell will be the best pickups that the Dolphins had this season, and it's not even close. But so let's get into the problem now before I close out. And I want everybody, y'all chime in, y'all. Let me know how you feel about it. Am I being Dolphin fan that's just crazy Dolphin fan, just going over the top again, or am I making sense here? I've seen this story before. I know how this story is going to end. I know how this story plays out all the time. I know how this plays out. So Miami sits at 5-7. Technically, Miami is not out of the hunt yet for the playoffs. Like I said, they could win their next 5 games. They won't, but they could win their next 5 games, and they'll be 10-7, which will probably get them into the playoffs. But then they're going to probably go to Buffalo, Baltimore, KC, or Pittsburgh, which, God, let it be Pittsburgh. But then what? You have a first-round exit just to say that we went to the playoffs 3 straight years? Or do we realize what the problem really is in Miami? That, first of all, Chris Grier, your time is up. It's time for you to go. You've had too long to deliver us a championship contender, and you failed at every step of the way. It's time for you to go. That's it. Mike McDaniel, you may be following him. I don't know. I still would probably give Mike McDaniel 1 more year, just with a new GM actually rebuilding this team, because the 5 years is up. You give a team you 5 years. You got a 5-year project. Your 5 years is up. It's time to redo it again, because it didn't work. Because right now all we're doing is ruining our draft position if we win these meaningless games, which I know you're not going to tell professional athletes to go out there and lay down. You can't do that. But right now I'm looking forward to April now and the draft, and seeing what we could get in the draft, see what spots we need. Because to me, this season is over. We got 5 games left, but this season is completely over. This was a failure of a season, starting with Chris Grier not getting us a suitable backup quarterback. Skylar Thompson gets in the game last week. The ball goes the other way for a touchdown. So Chris Grier has failed us at every, and I'm not for the brothers losing their jobs, but in this regard, he'll be all right. He has not set this team up for long-term success. Stephen Ross is like 80 years old. Shout out Thinking Black in the building. Stephen Ross is like 80 years old. 80 plus. He didn't have too much longer. He wants to see a winning team, and I don't blame him. He's given them money after money after money. Every time they say, hey, let's get this player, he does it. No questions asked. And they have consistently let him down and not delivered a real team. So I am saying this now. I am trading Tyreek Hill first chance I get, because you could still get a first round. I think you could still get a first round pick for Tyreek Hill, because there's going to be some teams that's like just a explosive receiver away. Give him a chance to go play for a contender, because Miami is not it. And I hope that I'm wrong in what I'm saying, because this is like literally hurting me to say this because of my love for the Dolphins. But what it does look like I won't be opening this year, because the deal was I would open this, once they won their first playoff game. But I would trade Tyreek Hill, because the way this team needs to be structured, that you don't need that. What Miami does need is a receiver, a big receiver, like a 6'2" receiver, 6'3" receiver, somebody that can go up in traffic and get passes. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are not that. They're smaller guys. Tyreek Hill is probably 5'10". Jalen might not be that much taller than him. But these are small guys in the grand scheme of things. When you look at, like a Jefferson and, those guys over there that can go up and get anything. Jamar Chase and, those big time receivers that literally you could just throw it up in the air and they'll go get it. Miami needs to go back to fundamentals, running the football, playing good defense, and take your opportune strikes where needed. Tua can make any throw on the field. He can make any throw on the field, but Tua is a small quarterback compared to a lot of these guys. Tua doesn't need to be throwing the ball 40, 50, 60 times a game. He doesn't need to be doing that. You got to play complementary football. He has to be able to have a running game that he could lean on. And they have completely failed him. Why do you think the Dolphins were so good last year? Because they led the NFL in rushing. They could run the ball. They had damn near 30 touchdowns out of the running back position alone last season. Out of the running back position alone, Moser had 21, 22? And A-Chain had like another 10. Then that was him missing 4 games. It's not, listen, this isn't rocket science. And I know they say, oh yeah, you the Monday morning quarterback and you can sit there and you can talk about things that happens. No, I got these big ass eyeballs. I watch the games as they go on and I see where we're lacking. Miami got 0 pass rush last night. Where was Chop Robinson? And I know Jalen Phillips is hurt again. Bradley Chubb is I don't even know what his contract thing is, because I think they can get out of that next season. We don't have our 2-star edge rushers. We don't have, but this is the NFL again. Everybody gets hurt. Hell, the Buffalo Bills, as much as I hate them, I think at one point their entire defense was hurt one time last season. And they still found a way to win because of Josh Allen, and they could run the ball. So you tell me. I know Chris Greer is making all the money. He gets to sit up in this nice palatial office and things like that. I'm just a dude with a microphone, and I could just sit here, behind my setup, and I could just talk trash. And then I love the fact that y'all come out to hear me talk that trash. I do appreciate that, but man, we got to look ourselves in the mirror as Dolphin fans, man. I'm not saying stop liking the team, because that would be stupid. This is our hometown team. We love the Dolphins. And you know what? I want to love something to the fact that it hurts me like this, because it shows that you still have that emotion. It's just like when you're in a relationship. Some people say, oh man, I never want to be hurt in a relationship, but that's crazy. We're not robots. You got to know what the pain feels like. So now when the joy comes, you're like, oh man, you appreciate the joy so much better. I'm going to end with this. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I don't know if this gave it away, but I'm a huge wrestling fan. And we do a show on here Wednesday nights called Wrestling with Reality. And my co-host, when Cody Rhodes came back, I was pissed when he didn't beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Like, I was pissed, like getting ready to just end the show pissed. And he was like, you know what? It's going to be so much better when he wins it next year. because you watched him go through that adversity. You saw him come in and everybody made it seem like he was supposed to win, but he didn't win. And now when he finally wins, and when WrestleMania 40 was over and Cody Rhodes, I must have watched the ending of WrestleMania 40 like 20 times. I'm not even gonna lie to you, just to see the joy in his face and like the story ending. So I say that if hopefully, I'm not an old man about to leave here by this time, but when the Dolphins win, I didn't experience so much pain watching this team that the joy I'm going to feel when they make the Super Bowl is going to be astronomical, man. And that's the only thing we can hold on to. Enjoy the ride. There's going to be some ups and downs. They've given us some good times, like especially last season. That 70-point destruction of the Broncos, that 50-point destruction, but putting 70 points on the Broncos was fantastic. But then you go out and you do what you did last night. It's always fun to watch them beat up on the Patriots, but then you go out and do what you did last night and just completely crap the bed. So that's all I got, man. You guys, I'll be back next Sunday. 4:20 for the Dolphins versus the Jets game. The recap. Hopefully we could beat the Jets. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't find the fountain of youth and go crazy on the Dolphins. But hopefully we could take care of business against the Jets and try to salvage this season some type of way. Tomorrow night, if you guys are interested, you watch wrestling. Tomorrow night is a Survivor Series, so we will be doing a live watch party for the main event War Games match, the men's War Games match, the Bloodline Civil War War Games match. So be sure to tune in. I think I'm gonna start that tomorrow, like about 8. We'll just be doing a live watch along. So be sure to tune into that. Huh? Do what? Yes. Yeah, we'll be doing the live watch along tomorrow night. So man, hey, with all that being said, hey, after a game like last night, there's only one person that I want to hear from in a time like this.
Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, yummy.
Peace.
Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Been smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, or fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Been smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, or fly through my eye. And in time you will find